Eve is on a mission to find out who sent the incriminating photos, and it's Elfman, Campbell Greene. Rather than having Campbell choose the restaurant, Eve did a Yelp search and found the Blossoming Lotus. The restaurant had wonderful reviews on their raw and vegan cuisine, so she knew it would satisfy him. Choosing the location herself left Eve in control of the evening, in case he was the one responsible for the photos. A young female server looking as vegan as one can, you know the look, like she's never eaten meat or anything fattening in her life, zigzagged over in a dress so short that it left nothing to the imagination. Her heels were impractical for someone on their feet all day, but she likely knew what they did for her figure. Eve took solace in the fact that the girl's feet would be aching later and envisioned the bunions she would experience as she aged. Her vegan face was fixed with a peppy false smile. She pulled a pencil from behind her ear, looked directly at Campbell, ignored Eve, and asked about his drink preference. At one point, the overly friendly server's hand rested on his shoulder as she waited for him to respond. Her perky demeanor and obvious flirtation with Campbell caused Eve to daydream about reaching up and choking her dainty little neck. Internally, her mind was wreaking havoc, but Eve maintained a look of calm on the surface. She even donned her own face smile. But, by God, she knew how to fake it. 4 years in the psychology department had taught her something. "Eve, they have a specialty drink I think you'll enjoy. Do you mind if I order it for both?" She gave Campbell a nod of approval, so he ordered the Goodnight Sweetheart, a drink made with bourbon, lime, ginger beer, and bitters. Eve looked down at the menu and noticed the price, only $7 for a cocktail. Eve couldn't remember the last time she had a drink that only cost $7. Hell, most coffees cost more than $7 back home in New York. Eve would never think of Mobile, Alabama, as home. When Campbell asked what brought her to Portland, she already had a story in place, but then he asked about her life, and she wasn't prepared for that. Eve stumbled a bit, and she was pretty sure he noticed. Suddenly, she remembered she was supposed to be an academic, a university professor. Damn, I really suck at this. She quickly recovered, took a big drink, coughed, and suggested they order. Eve gave herself time to think up some plausible answers. Eve scanned the menu. Although she identified as a true blue meat eater, she was intrigued by the options listed. Finally, she decided on a cheeseburger, but this wasn't just any old cheeseburger. This was a lentil walnut burger with nut cheese, mixed greens, dried tomatoes, red onion, and avocado. Campbell decided to get a bibimbap. I know what you're thinking, what the hell is that? The dish was full of imposing ingredients like baby bok choy, marinated mushrooms, and ginger fermented cabbage. To Eve, it looked to be nothing more than an elaborate coleslaw. As an appetizer, they decided on live nachos. Eve pictured tiny nacho chips with bouncy legs, running around the table, dipping themselves into salsa and guacamole, then jumping into their mouths, satisfying their taste buds with a hint of spiciness. Viva la nacho! Am I the only one who went there? A smile played at the corners of her mouth. Eve leaned back in her chair and looked at Campbell over the table. She was enjoying herself. The food was delicious, and the flavors reminded her of the food in Tres Piedras. The two ended up sharing bites of their meals with one another. The lentil walnut burger did not taste one bit like a juicy beef hamburger. Still, Eve found it to be an enjoyable substitute. She expected the meat to be missing from the menu, but she hadn't imagined desserts would be unavailable. There wasn't a single one on the menu. But, honestly, who eats like this? The closest they came to desserts was a variety of smoothies. She truly wanted a warm double chocolate cake with caramel and nuts, with just a hint of vanilla. Still, because there was nothing remotely like that on the menu, she opted for a hot date. The hot date was made from raw pecans, banana, almond milk, protein powder, dates, cayenne, and cinnamon. Campbell had a green dream: spinach, kale, avocado, mango, orange juice, dates, almond butter, and almond milk. The smoothie was no substitute for cake, but like the hamburger, she was experiencing an out-of-the-ordinary alternative. They requested another round of drinks and continued the conversation. The food offered Eve plenty of time to develop a story to satisfy Campbell's curiosity and reveal if he was involved with the photos. Campbell told Eve they should celebrate their good news with a bottle of wine. He gestured to the vegan server, with a smile, to come to the table. She sashayed across the floor, looking, for all intents and purposes, like she was trying to seduce him with her walk. The vegan girl actually frowned when he asked for a bottle of their finest, and Eve had to squelch a laugh. Minutes later, the bottle was thumped unceremoniously onto the table. Campbell had to remind the girl that it needed to be uncorked. She silently worked the corkscrew, filled their glasses, and walked away without a word. Campbell was oblivious to the girl's disappointment. He moved his seat closer to Eve and showed her photos of his students visiting the Sequoia National Park, telling stories about them, and pointing out all the wonders found in the Great Northwest.